Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be discussing really how to generate exclusive HVAC leads for between $70 and $90, under market price. And the way our model works is we really utilize, Google Ads to generate leads for your own brand, right? Opposed to buying them from a third party like Angie. So in this video we're going to talk about the search engine, the keyword planner, how to build out campaigns, and then you can want to stay to the end because we're going to be talking about our top converting landing page and why it converts so well, and how to generate, essentially, exclusive HVAC leads from start to finish. So right now, for HVAC companies, I am seeing Google Ads as the primary platform for a few reasons, right? So Google, when you're looking at Google, there's basically four places within, a second that you can generate leads. You have your guaranteed program, you have traditional Google Ads, you have Google My Business, and then you have just normal SEO and organic search down here. The power of Google Ads is that you're actually able to configure an account and leverage these top three formats in one place, right? And Google's really pushing paid media over SEO and organic. So you're going to see Google really prioritize some of this paid traffic over SEO. SEO is also a longer game, so it's harder to see significant lead generation when you're a medium-sized HVAC company. But basically, the way you get to these top spots, it all starts with the keyword planner in Google Ads, and understanding, okay, what type of volume can I get from Google? What keywords are really driving the bulk of the searches, and how to target them effectively, right? So we're going to start in here, and we're just going to type in the keywords we know are going to be searched: HVAC company, heating and air, and we're going to see what comes up, right? So we hit get results, and then Google's going to basically import, all of their data to show, hey, what is driving searches in the last month? What is the competitive pressure, the type of cost per click ceilings? So we're going to go through here, and we're going to just start to select the relevant keywords that are important to us, right? So we're going to go through, and honestly, a lot of these are going to be really important, right? So if you're an HVAC company, you deal with AC, you deal with heat, cooling air. Maybe there's a few of these, competitive searches you don't want to rank for, you don't want to serve for, so you can, just easily unclick them. Then you're going to add these to your plan. We're going to first configure this as an exact match. And that'll be for a few reasons. So we'll hit this and we'll show the forecast. But, just to give a little bit of context on how we structure our campaigns, we do two types of campaigns. We do exact match, and that's about 50 to 70% of what we serve. And then we do broad match. And what broad match does is it's basically, we have another video on broad match I can link in the description. But basically, Google is really trying to push broad match as an intent-based targeting. Basically, when someone searches, heating and air companies, 5-star reviews, there's not a great way to find that exact match. But if you're leveraging just normal broad match, an HVAC company could pick up, all these terms that go outside of your target, because Google knows, based on site experience, based on user history, they kind of know who's going to convert and who's not. And so that's why we want to leverage broad match in conjunction to, this exact match variation right here. So when we go into here, we have, obviously, our target is going to be Raleigh-Durham. We're going to open this up really quickly and then adjust our daily budget, and so Google can tell us what we can expect, right? So our daily budget here, we'll adjust that to $250. We'll add our conversion metric. We typically see between 10 and 20, so we'll put 13%. Hit save. Okay, so Google's saying, for an exact match variation, you can see between 84 quality leads at about $92 cost per acquisition. You can see what is going to be driving a lot of these clicks, right? Mini split, HVAC, Ferguson HVAC. There's a lot of options right here. The interesting thing, right, is that if you highlight all of these, and then change the match type to broad match, your numbers are going to absolutely expand and your cost per acquisition is going to drop. So you're going to see way more conversions at a lower CPA, right? You want to understand not every, when you're bidding on broad versus exact, generally exact is going to drive higher quality. However, you can't leverage automation in the same way that you can with broad. So broad, if you're able to, again, configure your bottom line revenue data with Google Ads, broad is the way to go, because then you can tell Google, hey, only optimize on intent and optimize on revenue, and just let it go, right? And Google will take those parameters and over the course of 2, 3, 4, 5 months, generate, 1,000+ return on your ad spend, which is really important, right? But not everyone has that capability, so you want to make sure you have layered on exact match with manual, cost per click, and then eventually leverage target CPA, right? But okay, so this gives you a quick forecast on what it looks like, what your targets are going to be. You're going to hit create a campaign, right here, select this, and then that'll take you to this page right here. This is an HVAC Raleigh broad match campaign configuration, and we're going to dive into these settings just so you know exactly how to tweak this up to ensure you're maximizing the Google technology. So you have your naming convention. I generally like to put my concept, I like to put my geo, and I like to put my match type. So I can really quickly leverage, hey, what concepts are driving revenue, what geos, what match types need to make adjustments, right? You know, Typically use account goals, customer acquisition. You can only bid for new customers. A lot of these, top line, it doesn't really matter, right? You want to give Google some room to run. Marketing objective, you can leave that as no goal. Okay, so networks. It's really important that you have include Google Search Partners and include Google Display Network unselected for a few reasons, right? This basically will put your ads outside of traditional, Google search engines, like right here. And it'll start to put it on websites that have search engines or like banner ads, things like that. You want to stay away from that. You really just want to be leveraging, Google search right here, because that's really where the best traffic's going to be. Um, Locations. It's really important, you have your locations, but you also hit location options, and make sure that present or interest is selected, as well as excluding presence, people in your excluded locations. We're going to have excluded locations just because you want to ensure, if you're local to RDU, someone that's passing through that then is, in Charleston, South Carolina, doesn't trigger your ads. So that's really important. Let's scroll down here, all languages, budget. You want to leverage the forecast right here to dictate, obviously, how much should I spend, as well as, what are my monthly budgets, how far can I go. Adjust your budget here. So on a broad match strategy, we're going to leverage automation here, and we're going to hit maximize conversion. And we're going to set a target cost per acquisition. So your target, Google's saying it's about $24. You're going to put 50 here, and this is going to be your biggest lever when you're adjusting your cost and your lead flow, right? If you want more leads and you're tapping out and see your search impression share is below 10%, you're barely spending, what Google's telling you is that your target CPA right here is too low. You need to double that to expand your lead flow, right? Inversely, if you're, say you don't even have a target CPA, Google's going to just spend as much as they possibly can with no guardrails. So you're going to try to put, maybe $80 target CPA and start to work your way down to find that sweet spot. Typically, what I like to do is I like to leverage the TCPA adjustment over the budget. So I'll put, $10,000 a day. Google won't even hit $10,000 a day. There's not a demand to reach it. But I'll use the target CPA to kind of adjust my budgets. This kind of helps align your budget and your bid together to ensure you're maximizing the most in your target area, right? This is really where demand and then your personal or your business, CPA and revenue goals can get aligned right here. So, and it is important that you do set a CPA, especially in the beginning, because Google doesn't really know where to go. So it kind of helps let them know, hey, don't spend any more than X on a lead, and it'll fluctuate. Okay, let's save. Um, And Google kind of gave me a little alert. You need conversion tracking set up to even start this process. I'll have other videos on conversion tracking, but don't go live with a campaign unless you have conversion tracking. Okay, and then I want to touch a little bit in locations. For the most part, when you're leveraging like a broad and a TCPA, automated rule, it's called broadimation, right? So it's one of those things where you're really letting Google make a lot of the decisions while you're putting just a few guardrails in place. So you're going to want to go into exclude locations just to ensure that all these surrounding areas except for your target are excluded, especially for local, regional HVAC companies. It's really important. Okay, so that kind of covers, the forecasting, configuring your the configuration process for your Google Ads. I wanted to touch a little bit about, landing pages, and when someone does click on your ad, where are they going to go? So when we go into Google search, a great way to start is to look at your competitors. In my opinion, for HVAC and home service companies in general, I see Angie.com just really hit it out of the park. So this process, this landing page format is really effective. Think about it. When someone is searching for an HVAC company, the best thing to do here is to leverage their geo right here, leverage their keyword search, and then have a really quick form that's responsive that gives them exactly what they're looking for. And then down here, they have reviews of their site, and that's it. It's literally just quick form and reviews. I've seen a lot of HVAC companies where they have these really bulky, long forms. Here, we'll even go back and dive into a few of them. So if we click on, Barber Heating and Air, and you go to request a quote. Let's go down here. Let's see how long that loads already, and then it's just a long form that seems like. And then look, this pops up. It's unfocused. When you're looking at this as a user, this is kind of bulky and takes a long time, and it doesn't ask all the right questions. It can be confusing, and this is going to hurt your conversion rates, right? Whereas when you go back to Angie, really quick, gives you right what you want, what you're looking for, and then you hit, say you hit your zip code, start matching, and then it takes you to this really responsive. Again, it's literally just a form, and a lot of HVAC owners have seen they don't like this, right? Because they're like, hey, where are my reviews? Where are my brand? But you have to think about the user for a second. What they want is something quick, answer their questions. Okay, this is relevant. These are asking the questions I'm looking for, and then boom, it fires off, right? So what we've done is that we've created a form that is very similar to this Angie list that pulls in a lot of data for our HVAC clients, right? So when we click on it, basically it's very similar. You've got your brand, you got your number, but it connects them right with, so they click on the ad and then it's like, boom, all right, top rated HVAC company in my area, that's what I'm looking for. Where am I at, right? The power of this form is that it's very quick loading on mobile, desktop, and tablet. It has all the right questions you can need, and we can adjust this form depending on our client's needs. Very fast loading, but then it imports that conversion data. So basically, when you click on an ad, here I'll show you guys. Let's go back here. When you click on an ad, there's something called the G-Click ID. And what that is basically this code right here. See how it says G-Click? It's this code right here, and that is how you're able to find out what leads are converting and driving revenue all the way down the sales process, right? There's a configuration process, and it starts with importing this code into a form like this, right? So you can track them in your CRM. But it's extremely important when you're leveraging the broadimation strategy that you have a form that can import that data, right? So as you're going through this, again, there's a hidden field that the user never even sees, but it grabs this G-Click and puts them right inside the form. And then we take that data, we'll go back into Google Ads, into tools and settings, into conversions, and then we're going to create an offline conversion tracker. You hit import, and this is where you're able to import business data, right? Other data sources, track conversions from clicks, and this is where you'll basically be able to configure your revenue. So say this one is literally just like sale, right? HVAC sale, and you're only importing your sales. And then you basically can tell Google, hey, only optimize towards HVAC sales. Don't optimize towards leads anymore. Only and you'll probably see an uptick in your CPA, but you'll also see an uptick in your ROI, which is the most important goal for any lead generation strategy or campaign. Okay, well, that's, a little bit of everything in terms of like, the power of Google Ads, the power of, offline conversion tracking for HVAC companies. The last thing I want to talk about is going to be, click fraud protection. So this is the last piece to any successful Google Ads strategy, and it's going to be protecting your ads from fraud. So I believe, between 15 and 20% of every click is fraudulent, whether that be a competitor. Even look how I just clicked on this ad. I'm not a target user, right? I'm not a consumer looking for HVAC. I'm doing competitive research, right? So having something like a ClickGuard or a ClickSeize to flag suspicious clicks and then put them in exclusion lists is vital. If you look in the last week, we've saved $1,000 on this campaign just because we're able to find those users and bots that keep clicking ads, putting them in exclusion audiences, and then reinvesting that money. Think about what would $1,000 do for an extra $1,000 do for your business in ad revenue, right? And those are the types of numbers and figures that are just vital to seeing a really successful campaign that's sustainable. So yeah, if you like this video, like, subscribe. I'm going to start doing a little bit more, HVAC videos, just because we're seeing our accounts really explode, and I'd love to share this information with other, HVAC owners and marketing managers in the space.